Torokosha I Chosha E. Coming in through center, please. As we begin to bring light into the base of the brain through the masculine ranges. Torokosha E Choyata. Into the occipital tones. Tarokoya Shashi Shinaki. And allowing this to expand through Tarohoya. Opening through the horizontals into the gut, Chorokokoshai. Coming deep inside here, Chohoya. Wherever we are afraid to move into this darkness for fear of what we will find, for fear of what we cannot see, Chorokokoshai, Chorokoya. Fear of what we will find through the darkness. Exercising this channel which has been shut down by this energy of fear, so that we are starting to stretch, starting to eradicate this tone, this sensation, this feeling in the body, where that fear, then that vibration shuts down, the nervous system shuts down, the neural expansion, at an energetic level here. Good. So opening. Good. Feeling that coming into the feminine range here. Opening up. Pushing into the fear. Standing in the face of fear. Facing off with this fear. As you speak your truth. As you open to accept your reality, as it is. Facing this, feeling the base of the brain, Charokoya. In and around the brainstem here, we see these brown tones where they are constricting, where they are actually minimizing the feminine capacity here. There's an overactive range here around the right side of the brainstem. It's not quite ego, it's something else, but it has this feeling of, if I appear to be stronger and bigger than I am, I can ward off whatever is coming towards me, and yet it's a false kind of inflation of the truth, which means that now we are in lies, manipulation, distortion, and we're creating more more distortion, more intolerance actually, through the field. So coming in to face what is here, this is really emotionally just finally being brought to your knees, facing the truth. And it seems to have to do with mother tone. So wherever we are in avoidance of the pain that the mother energy causes, it's almost then as if we feel we have to put up some other sort of front to protect ourselves from it. In doing so, it's minimizing the feminine range. We're taking on some sort of distorted stance in order to protect ourselves. And it's actually causing more of the same, of this shrinking, that happens in the feminine. So where in the past it has made sense to back away, to protect the self, to put up barriers, that is no longer working. In fact, it's causing more distress now. And let's look at this where the vision is restricted, minimized, constricted, as a result. Actually, because it seems like what's happening is we're almost pandering to the distorted mother, the distorted feminine range. Again, in the past, it felt like we were doing this as a protection, and yet now the way that it affects the field is that to minimize, to shrink, to cover up is allowing the distorted mother then to stay in its own distorted perspective. Okay, wow, this is a huge revelation here. So whatever kind of maneuvering or tactic or things we really did need to do in the past to protect ourselves, now they are really working against us. Okay. All right, so, and that felt very uncomfortable. It felt like we almost had to do that on our own. So the kosha I, we can see where it actually is pulling up memories in the field. And even when we say field, right, it's cellular memories in the human body as well, where the child had to protect its own self, where it was completely alone. So it's almost as if now we're able to stand up for ourselves, and yet it's also activating something deep within the field, because it also felt like, look, there are no other energies beyond you right now in the human that understand this. So you have to dig deep and pull up something here. You have to take a stand for yourself. To speak what is true for you. And when we say what is true for you, it doesn't necessarily mean like some beautiful spiritual truth. This is the reality of my situation now, and maybe it's not wonderful. Maybe it's, I am in pain, I am struggling, I need space, I need time, I don't have the money, I don't have the resource, whatever it is, right? Like, that's what we're talking about. We can no longer kind of diminish or sugarcoat or minimize what is really going on for us. We need to acknowledge it. Whereas in the past, sweeping things under the rug, trying to make it comfortable for everyone, was probably the more of the preferred tactic that needed to be employed. And here no longer. So we can feel the brainstem almost coming out of this deep freeze, this isolation. This is incredibly profound with what's happening here in the field. Well, it's the shame, right? It's the shame. Whatever we feel ashamed of, we try to hide. We try not to put that also in some ways like making it anyone else's burden. And yet in doing so, right, we keep things from being resolved. If the truth is not expressed, if the truth is not unveiled, so unveiling this truth of the pain and suffering that you have endured, even if it makes others uncomfortable, and recognizing that all of your life you have veiled the truth because you knew it made others uncomfortable. It was more comfortable for you to be uncomfortable than to have to see others being uncomfortable. This is the way your life has been lived, and it is no longer to be this way. The uncomfortable truth must be revealed. It's almost as if we don't even realize the pain that we feel. It's really not our own pain as much as we feel the pain of others having to face these things. We had seen this. We saw this. This was going to come. And here it is. The pain you experience on a regular basis, emotional pain, is less your pain and more you feeling what it would feel like for others to actually know the truth. Okay, so releasing this burden that you have carried through the bloodline. through the feminine womb space. You spent your life protecting others from the truth. Being the veil of truth. Enshrouded. Taro o shoshono kosha I. It is time. It is time. Taro kokosha I. Chahoya. Taro koksha o shoshi shanaki. Charokoya dakai. Release yourself from the insanity. Taro koya daki. Chahoya daki. It is no longer yours to carry. Taro koya daki. Chahoya dakai. Charohoya daki, Charohoya daki, Chohoya dakai, Choshiki. Breathing in, Tarakoya, Ashanoya dai, Ashanoya dai, Chohoya. You are not the cause of this. Tarokosha I, it is no longer yours. This burden, Tarokosha I, to bear. Chahoya dahi chorokoya dakai chorokoya dakai chorokoya daki. Tarokosha I charakoya daki choya daki choya dahaya. The mysteries of the Magdalene. Tarokokosha I chashi. Allowing the spin to start to adjust. Activating through the heart core. Releasing the coils, tarokoya, from the feminine heart. Again, these brown tones, tarokosha I, where these energies were getting stepped down, and reduced. At the first sign of disapproval, okay, formulating to come here into the feminine heart to extract this density, some sort of crystal density here. It's a bit of some sort of Christ burden, into the feminine heart. Almost has this quality of, in order to feel special, no, it's this feeling of specialness carries a burden with it. So it's a lot of manipulation here. In order to be who you are, these rare tones, this rare clarity within the field, it is considered special, but yet if you are special, you have to carry this burden. And so there's this almost internal battle of being seen, not wanting to be seen, and yet then feeling completely restricted as a result. The shame, the guilt, the rage. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. Always blamed. Find this in the temple. Some sort of binary split of the feminine and masculine tone is splicing through the field, through the inner child ranges. Well, it's almost as if something was implanted, this split or splicing, this separation. It's almost as if the feminine and masculine ranges were spliced and they were split and then spliced in with almost like a holographic tone of someone else's field. This eternal feeling of something missing, eternal longing for something you could never have, because it's something that doesn't actually exist, and yet it feels very, very real because it's been put into the field. It creates almost a membrane or a barrier in the mind, never able to fully commune with your own self. Always feeling a bit repelled in your field. This repelling. That magnetic repelling. Okay. Finding this deep within the left hemisphere of the brain and where it affects into the back of the heart. Okay. The sense of madness. Here. Okay, it's pulling up memories from childhood. These were deeply internalized, deeply subconscious, so may not even be related to any kind of emotions or memories that you have as a child, but they were deeply implanted into the subconscious here. These airs, the crosses, these capes, the ki giving testimony, to be witnessed. Okay, good. So pulling up these red crosses from deep within the left rib, It's almost as if there was some sort of manipulative oath. Don't ever reveal the secrets, and yet the secret truly needs to be unveiled in terms of how the field has been bearing the burden, so that others may move around unencumbered, within false light, clearing through the ribs, underneath the breasts here, and through the front of the mind. Okay, let's open through the front of the mind, through the horizontals, please, and just bringing energy to support this sense that keeps arising here of being completely mad. So stabilizing through the mind, through the breath, as you breathe. No longer fearing the fear that arises here. It's very scary for this inner child here, to speak her truth, to express his truth, even though he is aware it will make the adult uncomfortable. Even though she recognizes it causes the adult pain. Unbearing these burdens, through the front of the heart, and letting go of anyone else's ideas, anyone else's missions, anyone else's timelines, anywhere, any other energies were utilizing your field for their own agendas. Breathing in and releasing through the ribs. as it is so.